What's up y'all, this is Ray. Welcome back to another video. Today we're doing a Q&A. A couple of weeks ago I posted a story on Instagram telling y'all to, ask me some questions, whatever y'all wanted to know. And a ton of y'all responded. There's so many questions, a lot of interesting ones and also even deep questions, but I'll try to respond to as many as I can. Either way, thank y'all for participating. Got me a nice little smoothie and acai. So, that's your acai. Let's start with the questions. So y'all asked me a ton of questions. Let's start. Favorite place in San Francisco? I don't know yet. I'm still exploring the city and going around, but I really like the Golden Gate Park. It's really close to campus, so you can just take a scooter there, take a bike. It's a huge park, and I really like just the coast on the ocean. I've been to a couple spots already. I just really like it. Food-wise, there's a lot of Asian food. There's a whole different type of foods, so it's a great city for that, for sure. Someone asked, what made you love basketball? So I always grew up in a basketball environment. My dad used to play when he was in university. My brother played. So because my brother is older than me, I've been just around a basketball court since I was born, basically. So I had a relationship with basketball since I can remember. It's always been part of my life and it's just a natural thing to me. A lot of people asking me about OT, if I regret it or, how was the experience. So OT, I feel like it was really great for me. Maybe only downside is that I've kind of took an extra year before college. Other than that, I feel like OT has been a really great experience. It's a place designed for high schoolers, and at that age I feel like it's one of the best places in the world because the facilities are just amazing. The people, the coaches, and the people that work there are just incredible people. Pretty much all of the coaches have experience in the NBA or at a really, really high level, and they're all just working to make you improve and make you the best player you can be. So I feel like it's really a great environment. A lot of people think that OT is not serious because of the content part. So content is like kind of how they manage to provide all these good things to us, the facilities, the coaches, traveling, all those things. That's kind of how they're able to provide that type of stuff to us. And I feel like just because they're really active on social media doesn't mean it's a unserious league or a serious place. Don't be fooled by what you see on social media. Like, that's actually a place where people actually get better, people actually improve, and you can see the results. Like, there's quite a lot of players who came out of OT, went to the NBA, went to become pros. So I'm definitely grateful that I've been there, and I'm thankful to being part of the family. Biggest thing you learn from being at OTE, as I said, coaches there want you to be a better player and improve. And one of the things that they taught us throughout the year is how to be a pro in all aspects, not only on the court, but off the court. Even things like rehab, preparing your body to work, things like that, just how to be a professional. And also on the court, they taught us, how to use your strengths, how to be the best player you can be. And so just preparing us to, just be professional. I feel like that's one of the main things. So just kind of getting an insight of how college works, how even NBA works, how the players at that level work, how the teams and organizations are structured, and also even coming in contact with NBA scouts, college coaches, and just understanding their mentality. That's one of the most valuable things that I got from OTE. How do I deal with opponents that are taller than me? I feel like as a small guard, you're always gonna face that. It's a process of repetition and learning. I'm still in the process of learning that, but what I think is it's important to, use pace, use change of direction and speed to your advantage, use angles. I feel like those are all skills that are really useful and almost necessary for smaller guards or any guard. So I feel like practicing and even watching film and learning how great guards use pace and different angles, how they use the rim for protection, different finishes, especially like floaters, mid-range. Those are all really useful for guards. So So yeah, it's a combination of all those things. There's people asking me about my handles or how to be shifty. As I also said before, it's understanding and learning how to use pace, change of direction, angles. But I think before that comes the fact that you have to have the ball on the string. So, when you're dribbling, you can't be thinking about not losing the ball. Actually, dribbling the ball shouldn't be on your mind. You should be only thinking and reading and reacting on what your defender is doing and what the defense is doing, what your teammates are doing, things like that. So I feel like one of the first steps, one of the most important steps is just to work on your handle and have it be so natural to you that you don't think about it, and that allows you to, work on footwork and pace, things like that. Also, I appreciate everybody who, instead of asking questions, just complimented me. So thank y'all. Favorite hoop shoe right now? A lot of people ask me about my shoes. If y'all don't know, I am sponsored by Li-Ning, which is a hell of a brand. I feel really, really blessed to be working with them and for them giving me this opportunity. I feel like they're the best shoe brand out there in terms of quality and actual shoe build. I might be a little biased, but I'm just really thankful for them for giving me this opportunity. Someone asked if I ever faced racism on the basketball court. There's definitely players or people in the crowd that yelled and told me things that, are kind of offensive, or at least was meant to be offensive. But I feel like I don't ever get affected by things like that. The words that they're saying might be offensive, but I just don't really pay attention to that, or I just don't really care. But also there's another part where, people may overlook you or underrate you for just how you look, or they might put limits on you just because of how you look or how you build physically. And I feel like that hasn't really happened to me a lot in my journey in basketball. So, I'm pretty lucky for that. There's been maybe a couple instances where I had a little influence, but I feel like I've been pretty lucky to have encountered, coaches and management people or teams that didn't see me as that. So it hasn't really affected me in that sense, and I'm grateful for that. I know there's other players who have faced that, and I can't imagine like how terrible it is to be judged not by how good of a player you are or what your actual skill is, but just by how you look. Someone asked, how do I become a more consistent hooper? It's a hard thing to be consistent. All basketball players can relate to having bad days or days where everything seems to go the wrong way. But I feel like to be a solid hooper, or a player that coaches and teammates trust, you gotta recognize and understand what you're good at and learn to be able to do that anytime you step on the court. So, for example, you're really good at rebounding, but maybe one game shots are not falling or things of that nature, but your team still knows that you're gonna grab those rebounds for them and you're still going to provide value to the team, and that's how I feel you can be consistent or a solid player. Just anytime you step on the court, you're providing value. A lot of players can play a long time and even earn a lot of money in the NBA just by doing specific things at the highest level. But, that's just understanding what your value is, what you're good at, and just providing that every time you step on the court. And that's how coaches and teammates are going to trust you and how you're going to provide value. Do a day in the life? I'll try to. I'm thinking to just kind of record and document at least my off season or how my life looks. So I'll try to do that. I can't promise you a lot because also, I'm still focused on actually improving and my basketball journey. So, but if I have the chance, I'm gonna do it. My favorite basketball player growing up. So now I don't really have a favorite basketball player, but I remember my favorite player when I think I was like 2, 3. He started being my favorite player, and it's Dwayne Wade. My parents bought a Dwayne Wade documentary DVD for me, and I just remember every day, like every single day after school, when I got home, I just put the DVD in and I just watched it on repeat. He just became my favorite player, and it's really cool how life can be, because now, as I said, I'm signed with Li-Ning. I'm sponsored by them, and Dwayne Wade is part of Li-Ning. He has his own line to Way of Wade, and now I just get to represent his brand, and so that's kind of a full circle moment. I even had a colorway that it's based on the DVD that I used to watch when I was little. So that's really a cool thing, and I'm also really grateful for Leaning for the opportunity and giving me this cool thing. What are the difficulties encountered in your career and how do you solve it? I've definitely had a lot of challenges and obstacles and difficulties, but I feel like it's part of any journey or any journey of someone that wants to do something great or something at a high level. I feel like nothing great comes easy, and so that's kind of how I view it, and that's how I can embrace the hard times, because I know that's part of what's making me better and what's making me just stronger. I've had a lot of difficulties. The obvious ones are like injuries, knock on wood, but I haven't had any really serious injuries, so I'm glad that's the case. But other than that, for example, even last year OTE, we had a really rough season, losing a ton of games, and so just trying to work things out and just the pressure and the feeling of failing and losing is not good. And even in the past, when I was in Italy and growing up, just having to earn my spot everywhere I go, which is it's a fair thing, but sometimes it can be hard. I've kind of been overlooked a lot, underrated. People just not believing in me or thinking that I am limited. How do I solve it? Is just embracing it, understanding that's part of the journey. And if you encounter a challenge in your path or whatever it is, like just see it as an opportunity to prove yourself right and even prove others wrong. Just see it as an opportunity to grow and get better rather than, oh, I failed or things like that. So I feel it's just a change of perspective on how you view problems, and that can help you a lot. Could I visit Indonesia and come to Ambon? I'll try to. I like to just see new places and visit new cultures, new countries, so maybe one day I will. How to overcome nervousness when you play and stop getting embarrassed of failure? I feel like those are all things that are pretty natural. It happens to everyone. I experienced that too, definitely. And I feel like, as I said also before, it's a matter of reframing your perspective and changing the way you view these things. So, for example, nervousness. If I'm not wrong, there's been a study where they discovered that the body or your mind doesn't know the difference between being nervous and excited. And you can kind of use that to your advantage. So next time you're nervous, just reframe your mind and think, I'm just excited for this opportunity or for this game or whatever the situation is. Being nervous I feel like it means that you care, first of all. So just recognize that and understand that how the game or how the opportunity is going to go, it's a result of how much you worked. That's also a mentality that I had, for example, when I was in school and I had tests. I see a lot of people who were stressing so much over the test, like being so nervous right before the test. And in my mind, the test is just a result of how much you studied and how much work you put in. And so I just got rid of that nervousness or stress by reframing it, thinking it like that. Just think of it like that. It's a result of how much you worked, so there's no really reason to be nervous about it. That doesn't mean you're not gonna feel nervous. Like sometimes I feel nervous about things too, but just don't let it take control of you and don't let it like overwhelm you. And how to stop getting embarrassed of failure? You just can't care that much. Think of failure not as an embarrassing thing, but just view it as a learning experience, as something you can learn from, and just understand you're on your own path, on your own journey. Nobody can tell you what to do or nobody can judge you. If you just keep trying, keep doing your best, the failures are going to turn into wins eventually. What does being an Asian athlete mean to you? It means a lot, to be honest. Being able to represent a country or even, as you said, a whole continent, like it's something that definitely puts pressure on you. But having responsibility, I feel like it's a great thing. If there's pressure, that means that people expect great things from you, and that's a great responsibility to have. I've had that for some time now. When I was in Italy, I was the first Chinese basketball player to ever step on the first division court. I think I might be one of the first or even the first Chinese player to ever play in Europe in first division. So I'm really grateful for that, and that's also a responsibility that I'm really glad to have. That just means a lot, being able to represent. That keeps a chip on my shoulder and also pushes me to do the best I can, because I'm not only representing me, I'm representing a lot of people, a lot of even kids that look up to me. I've had a lot of kids that just come up to me and tell me how much they support me, how much they look up to me, they want to be like me, and that's really something amazing, and that even gives me more motivation and fuel to do better. How many languages can I speak and which one I'm best at? So Italian is my best language. I grew up there for 18 years, so that's the language I know the most. And then I know Chinese, English, some Spanish. That's pretty much it. I studied Latin in high school, but we don't use that language, so I don't know if it counts as one, but yeah, that's it. I'm traveling to Italy. What food would you recommend? There is so much. It depends on where you go, actually, like what area of Italy you're in the north, the south, the center. But wherever you are, just ask the locals what's the specialty there and just enjoy it. How old was I when I first dunked? I think I was probably 16. I have a video actually of it. I don't think it's my first ever dunk, but it's like second or third. So there's the video. It wasn't pretty, but first dunks are usually never pretty. Do I have a girlfriend right now? No, I don't. How did I meet Jimmy Butler? So I met Jimmy through Leaning. He's sponsored by Leaning too. It was 2 summers ago. He had like a China tour that he was doing, and Leaning just invited me to go along with him, and that's how I met him. He's a really, really great person, really funny, really kind, but also really, really hard worker and really competitive for sure. But I'm just really glad that I had the chance to meet him and get to know him. And right now we're in the same city too. But yeah, I'm really glad for this relationship, and also thanks for Leaning for making that happen. Someone asked, NBA draft next year would be dream seeing you and Hansen took his Franzibok playing in the league. We'll see. I don't know how my journey is gonna go. I'm definitely working to be the best I can. To be honest, I'm really, really happy for Hansen. I've been knowing him for a long time. We have a really great friendship. We are also part of Leaning family. I'm just really proud of him and happy for him. We were on a call right before the draft night, and we was talking, and I was just telling him like how happy I am for him. And it's already great to be teammates with Barry here at USF. It's just a great feeling that we can all be representing China and carving our own paths, but also being together during that path. So it's just a great feeling and great moments. What was it like to be selected into the national team, and how was the training like? Being selected by the Chinese national team, it's really amazing. I've forever remembered the first time I was called to the national team. Like the feeling of just honor and pride, but also responsibility that you get is really unmatched. It's probably one of the best things that any athlete can aspire to, just be able to represent the nation. That's one of the highest accomplishments that an athlete can achieve. So it really means a lot to me. Training there is not easy, definitely, but that's expected, that's fair. But yeah, will we ever see you in a Varese jersey again? I hope so. Varese is where I spent most of my life at. I'm really proud and thankful to have been part of the club. I developed and improved so much as a player and as a person over there. If I'm able to play for them again, that would be something amazing, really. Just a kid that grew up there, ended up playing and wearing that jersey in the same club, that would be something special. That's all I could answer for this time. Maybe if y'all have other questions, I'll do another Q&A. A lot of y'all ask me questions. I try to answer to as many as I can. Thank you for watching. Thank you for participating and asking me questions. Last thing, I just really appreciate all the support. Even in this, there's a lot of just messages of encouragement and support, and that really means a lot to me. So I just really appreciate that. And so yeah, that's the end of the video. So I'll see y'all soon.